Okay, so we're going to take what we learned when solving multi-step into this next lesson. This next lesson it goes hand in hand, but it introduces new special cases. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're solving this and kind of pay attention to the steps as we're going through them because you're going to notice a pattern. Okay, so if I start with our first example, all right, we follow the same steps. Step 1 says to distribute if there are any parentheses. Okay. So on the left, I can distribute -4 times everything inside the parentheses. -4 times 2x is -8x. -4 times +1 is -4. There's nothing to distribute on the right side, so I'm going to bring it down, -2. I want you to notice at this step kind of some similarities, so keep that in mind as I keep going, okay? Now, our second step is simplify, but since there's nothing to combine on either sides, we're going to skip step 2. But step 3 says that we move the variables to one side. So I'm going to move this -8x to the left side, and the opposite of -8x is to add 8x to both sides, okay? But if you notice right here, what I've just done, I didn't do it wrong, but look carefully. -8x and +8x cancel. So all I'm left with on the left side is -4. And if you look on the right side, -8x plus +8x cancel also, and I have -2 on the right side. So think about this. Does -4 equal -2? You think you got it wrong, you messed up somewhere, but you didn't. If you look, -4 does not equal -2. So this statement is not true, which if this happens means that this equation has no solution. Okay, there is no possible number that I can substitute for x that'll make the two sides equal. So no solution. You could also see it as a symbol. It's a circle with a line through it. That's the symbol for no solution. You could also see the words empty set, just for note's sake. Empty set is another expression for no solution. So either way is good to write. Okay, so on this side, all right, we can take care of any distribution. There's nothing on the left, so I'm going to bring it down. I can distribute the 3 to everything inside the parentheses. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times -3x is -9x. That does not apply to the -8 outside, so I do bring that down. Here is where I can see step 2, where I'm going to combine like terms. There's nothing on the left, so I bring it down. But I can combine 3 and -8 on the right. 3 minus 8 is -5. And -9x comes down because there's nothing to combine. My third step says I move my variables to the left, to the same side. So I'm going to, the opposite of -9x or -9x is +9x. Okay, so if I look carefully, -5 comes down, but this -9x and this +9x cancel. So I'm just have -5 on the left. Now bring -5 on the right, and -9x and +9x cancel. Now, at first glance, you're like, oh man, it's going to be the same as no solution. But if you look carefully, doesn't -5 equal -5? Doesn't a number equal itself? So if you see where it is true, because this one was not true, but if you see that it is true, this is called infinite solutions, okay? Infinite solutions. That means that no matter what number I put in for x on either side, okay? Like if I put a 3 here and a 3 here, of course it has to be the same. No matter what I do, they're going to equal on both sides. So, infinite solution. You could also see it written as the infinity symbol, infinite solution symbol. The most common way that we see it in algebra is something called all reals. It looks like an R with a line through it. We call it a double R, even though it's only one R with a line through it. But this is all reals. This means that all real numbers, no matter which number it is, if I put it into that x value, it is going to equal the same thing on both sides. So as we're keeping this in mind, we're going to solve these 4 equations at the bottom. not to say that they're always going to be no solution or infinite, because we could actually get an answer. So let's solve as we go. Okay. So my first step is to take care of any distributing. So on the left, I can distribute the 3. 3 times everything inside. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times 2 is 6. That does not apply to the negative 3x, so I bring that down. On the right side, there's nothing to distribute, so I'm just going to bring that down. Step 2 says I simplify. That means combine like terms. So on the left, if I look carefully, I can combine 6x and negative 3x because they both have an x. 6x minus 3x is 3x. The positive 6, nothing gets combined, so I just bring it down. On the right, there's nothing to combine, so I bring it down. Okay. My goal here is to move the variable to the same side, so I'm going to move the positive 3x to the left. The opposite of positive 3x is negative 3x to both sides. Okay. Now look here. 3x minus 3x cancel, and I'm left with 6. On the right, I have 6, and these 3 x's cancel as well because one's positive and one's negative. So let's test it. Does 6 equal 6? And if it does, then what's my answer? Infinite solutions. So you can write it as infinite solutions. You can write it as the infinity symbol. You can write it as the most common way, which is the double R. Okay, all 3 ways are correct. Number 2, I take care of any distributing. So I distribute on the left side. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. I can distribute on the right side here as well. So negative 7 times negative 2x is positive 14x. Negative 7 times positive 4 is negative 28. Now I see if I can combine anywhere, which I can't on either side. So I skip step 2. And now we're going to move the variables to one side. So I'm going to move positive 14x. The opposite of positive 14x is minus 14x. I'm going to do it, subtract it from the 12x. 12x minus 14x is negative 2x. Minus 36, nothing happens. You can already notice this is different because they don't cancel here. So don't always think that they're going to cancel. You have to do the math involved. So you can already tell this one's different than no solution infinite. The 14s on this side cancel, but I still have negative 28. So this becomes a simple solving equation problem. So solve it like normal. Add 36. So I have negative 2x equals, because the 36 is cancel, negative 28 plus 36 is positive 8. Then I divide by negative 2 to both sides. The negative 2's cancel, so x equals 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. Okay, if we keep going, all right, I have distributing first, so 8 times 5x is 40x. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. I distribute the 6. 6 times negative 3x is negative 18x. And 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. There's nothing to combine on either side, so I'm going to just move the variable to one side. I'm going to move negative 18x to the left by doing the opposite, which is add 18x to the 40x. 40x plus 18x is 58x. Minus 24, these 18x's cancel, equals negative 24. Okay, so then I solve it like normal. So I add 24 because I can't divide by 58 yet. Add 24 to both sides, so I have 58x, then the 24's cancel, equals, and if you look over here, the 24's cancel, but think about this mathematically. Negative 24 plus 24 is 0. Okay, so for this question, you need to specify that it is 0. So if I keep going, I divide by 58 to both sides, so x equals 0 divided by any number is 0. Do not confuse this with no solution. 0 is a numerical value. No solution is a term. So like no solution means nothing's possible. But for this number 3, 0 is your answer, okay? It's not the same thing as no solution. All right, if I keep going, number 4, there's nothing to distribute on the left, so I'm going to bring it down. On the right, there are 2 sets of parentheses, so take this one step at a time. I'm going to distribute the 7. 7 times x is 7x, and 7 times 2 is plus 14. I can distribute here also, negative 4. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. On the left, there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to bring it down. On the right, I can combine 7x minus 4x is 3x, and I can combine 14 plus 28, which is 42, okay? Then I want to move the variables to one side, so I'm going to move positive 3x. So the opposite is negative 3x to both sides. Then I look at it, 3x minus 3x cancels, negative 13 stays, 3x minus 13x cancels, and I have positive 42. Now ask yourself, does this make sense? Does negative 13 equal 42? And even if you check all your work and you know you did it correctly and you still get this, it's not true. So what does it mean when it's not true? That means no solution. So you can write out no solution, or you can put the symbol with, or the circle with a line through it. Okay, for more practice, just going to go over these, okay? So number 1, there's nothing to distribute, there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to move my variables to one side. The opposite of positive 6m is negative 6m. I'm going to subtract it from the 8m because they're like terms. 8m minus 6m is 2m plus 5. Then 6m's cancel, equal 1. So this becomes a simple 2-step. I subtract 5 to both sides. So 2m equals 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Divide both sides by 2. So m equals negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Okay, so it's not one of the special cases. I don't believe any of these are, to be honest. So this is just more practice with solving equations. If I look on this one, there's nothing to distribute, there's nothing to combine. So I'm going to move positive 4c to the left by doing the opposite, which is minus 4c. 8c minus 4c is 4c plus 5 equals, the 4c's cancel, equals negative 11. Then it becomes a simple 2-step. I subtract 5. 4c equals negative 11 minus 5 is negative 16. I divide both sides by 4. So c equals negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. Okay. Number 3, there's nothing to distribute, there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to move the 8b over. The opposite of positive 8b is negative 8b. So I have 10b minus 8b is 2b plus 18 equals, the 8b's cancel, so they equal 4. Then I solve, minus 18 to both sides. 2b, because the 18's cancel, equals 4 minus 18 is negative 14. Then I divide both sides by 2. 2's cancel, so b equals negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Last but not least, there's no distributing, there's no simplifying, there's no combining like terms, so I'm going to move the negative 17p. The opposite of negative 17p is to add 17p. And then I have 19, negative 13p plus 17p is positive 4p equals, the 17p's cancel, equals negative 5. I cannot divide by 4 until I move the 19, so opposite of positive 19 is negative 19. The 19's cancel, and I have 4p equals negative 5 minus 19 is negative 24. Divide both sides by 4, so p equals negative 24 divided by 4 is negative 6.